Bill McGuire is a volcanologist and climate scientist who has authored several books on the climate crisis. He is one of the more outspoken activists on the global warming front, with publications like Hothouse Earth and Waking the Giant, a scathing rebuke of our failure to address climate change and the dire consequences we may now be facing. McGuire is also a blogger for Extinction Rebellion, an organization that draws attention to climate change through civil disobedience and mobilizing governments. McGuire's statement about being terrified is bang on. Here's what shook me to my core.
I apologize in advance if I depress you all this evening, but this is hard to hear, but it has to be said. The talk is still, we must keep the global average temperature rise below 1.5 degrees. It's not possible. So that was really the thing that got me going on this. It is now practically impossible. Theoretically possible, I suppose, but not practically, because emissions would need to fall something like 50% in the next 60 months or so. It just isn't going to happen without some massive shock to society that we can't predict. 2 degrees isn't going to happen either. On the basis of current policies, it's estimated that we're heading for something just below 3 degrees C. The energy balance of our planet is completely out. I mean, if we take extreme weather to start with, anybody can see that it's become increasingly supercharged everywhere on the planet, including in the UK in the last 4 or 5 years, particularly in relation to floods, heat waves, drought, extreme rainfall, wildfires, etc. And I mentioned storms earlier on the Atlantic. Hurricane season expected to be extremely violent and extremely damaging. Now, there was a study, a detailed study, which was published last year, an attribution study, in which is now possible. You can actually look at a particular singular event, a climatic event, weather event, and say whether or not that was made possible or made worse by climate breakdown. It didn't used to be possible to do that, so deniers could say, oh, well, that's just weather, it's always varying. Well, now we can say whether a particular event is the result of climate breakdown. So we're engaged in a planetary experiment here. We have no idea what the end is going to be. Absolutely none, because it's never ever happened before across 4.5 billion years. And that message just isn't really getting out there. So this means that we can't sidestep dangerous, all-pervasive climate breakdown. It is going to happen now. Are we heading for societal breakdown? Well, certainly climate breakdown will translate into massive and persistent social and economic shocks. To some extent, we're already seeing that. Extreme weather is significantly impacting crop yields and food supply. What are we doing? Well, I think this illustrates it best. It's settled. We agreed to sign a pledge to hold another meeting to consider changing course at a date yet to be determined. 30 years of COPs, climate conferences. Emissions haven't even paused as a result of actions taken at any of them. Pledges and promises are worth nothing as far as I'm concerned, and I think many other climate scientists. We're going to face dangerous climate breakdown, but if we don't want a climate cataclysm, then we have to continue to fight. So what I'm saying tonight is pretty depressing, but I'm not saying give up, don't do anything. I'm saying this just makes it even more vital that we act.